division of the Georgia Independent School Association. GIAA.TV now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.TV Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.TV Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.TV Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.TV Plus. With all of your fan favorites, GIAA.TV Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more, featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.TV.
Founded in 1985, the Georgia Independent School Association proudly represents nearly 170 accredited private, independent, and parochial schools across the state. From Tallulah Falls to St. Simon's Island, from Columbus to Augusta, our schools serve over 76,000 students every year. Whether parents are interested in smaller class sizes, more individual attention, a religious-based curriculum, or a safe and structured environment, the GISA provides a strong education, which is the foundation for success. To learn more about the GISA and how they can serve your school, visit us online at www.gisaschools.org.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.TV, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association. GIAA.TV now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.TV Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.TV Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.TV Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.TV Plus. With all of your fan favorites, GIAA.TV Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more, featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.TV.
Founded in 1985, the Georgia Independent School Association proudly represents nearly 170 accredited private, independent, and parochial schools across the state. From Tallulah Falls to St. Simon's Island, from Columbus to Augusta, our schools serve over 76,000 students every year. Whether parents are interested in smaller class sizes, more individual attention, a religious-based curriculum, or a safe and structured environment, the GISA provides a strong education, which is the foundation for success. To learn more about the GISA and how they can serve your school, visit us online at www.gisaschools.org.
Welcome back, everyone, or welcome in, and welcome back to watching Inside the GIAA. It's Thrift, Barringer, Richard Holdridge, your voices for GIAA.TV, and we're another edition here in this spring season as baseball playoffs are about a week away. Soccer is about to start. Their playoffs are almost underway, Richard. We got tennis individual state championship that just happened on Monday and Tuesday. We got golf, track and field, What a time to be alive in the GIAA.
Absolutely. Great time to be a sports fan for spring sports. The baseball regular season, still 2 weeks left. The soccer regular season is wrapping up in the next couple of days. We're going to have the brackets out for soccer. We already got the individual tennis state champions that's been crowned. Now the team tennis is going to happen this weekend. We also have the golf championships for all classifications. The track and field championships are a couple weeks away. I tell you, it is just exciting times in the GIAA with all these great schools trying to fight for a championship.
You're exactly right. So we can't wait, and we got a great lineup for you here today. So after we do our intro, we'll take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about the baseball rankings. Now, we're not going to break yet, but when we do go to break, we're going to talk baseball review rankings. The new ones came out this week, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A. We also have a few good minutes. We're having our interview segment back, Richard, and the head coach of the Flint River Wildcats, who are ranked number 1 in the GIAA 1A classification. Nip Salter spent some time with us earlier today. We pre-recorded that interview, and we also had a pre-record with our soccer contributor from Stratford. He's also from England. His name is Ian Jones. He will be our soccer contributor. He's the head coach at Stratford, and we look forward to we did have a lot of fun talking with Ian about updating us what's going on in the land of soccer. You get to know him a little bit this week. It's more about introducing him. After that, we're going to sit down with 2 important guys of the GIAA, Kent Copeland and Clint Morgan. They were at 2 different locations for the tennis individual state championships, Richard, and we're going to get an update on how those played out Monday and Tuesday, and then we're going to wrap up the show with Commissioner's Corner with Tommy Marshall.
Yeah, this is really going down to the wire as far as regular season sports here in the GIAA. Great times and a lot of great rankings coming out. And I'm excited just to hear from everybody that we have on the show.
I am too, Richard. It's going to be a lot of fun here today. And again, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Georgia Independent Athletic Association. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Visit the website, giaasports.org. Very easy to maneuver. As you can see right behind me, you'll be able to get access. I'm on a basketball right now. They're the basketball rankings. Baseball rankings that are easy. I'm telling you, that is very easy to work this website. Find those rankings. You go to giaasports.org, click on sports tab. You go to baseball. Once you go to baseball, scroll down to rankings. Once you go to rankings, it then will pull up the rankings that are here, including right behind us. Well, this is official GIAA statement, but you get what I'm saying. You click on those rankings. It'll take you to Class 1A, 2A, 3, and 4. It'll take you to another tab where they have it on Max Prep. So giaasports.org is the website. We are also presented by the Beck Center, and we're live from the Beck Center. Thank you to Roger Beck and the Beck Center being the presenting sponsor for all GIAA state championships. We love that we get to host a show here, Richard. And like I said, make sure to go and do all those things, like and subscribe. Don't forget baseball state championships May 29th through the 31st. Soccer May 27th through the 28th. And then in between, throughout the next couple of weeks, we'll have tennis, we'll have golf, and we'll have track and field. I think golf is also next week. Tennis is the week after that, and track and field is coming up very soon.
May the 1st through the 3rd.
We look forward to talking with Kent and Clint and Tommy about all these state championships and where they're going to be. So it should be a lot of fun. Okay, Richard, any other quick thoughts before we move on and take a break and come back? We'll talk some rankings.
I'm good.
Any? Are you fired up about anything?
Oh, I'm fired up.
Listen, don't ever bring up Coaches Bach, Georgia to Richard because he does never agree with their rankings. Thankfully, we have our own rankings inside the GIAA, and we're going to talk about them next here on ITG. We'll be right back after this.
GIAA.tv now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.tv Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.tv Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.tv Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.tv Plus with all of your fan favorites. GIAA.tv Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more, featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.tv.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the GIAA. Thrift, Barringer, Big Rich. We thank y'all so much for tuning in, as we are your voices for GIAA.tv, and we'll be your voices for state championships for soccer and baseball coming up at the end of May. Soccer at Stratford, and the baseball will be at the beautiful new Synovus Park in Columbus, Georgia. Richard, I know you're excited about being there for that, and it should be a lot of fun. All right, we're going to go through soccer and then baseball. I know we said baseball review rankings. We're also going to do soccer as well. We'll talk more in depth about the soccer season so far with Ian Jones coming up after this. But we did briefly want to, no graphic. We're just going to go down the list. Richard, you start first with the 2A girls. Who are the top 10 teams?
Top 10 teams for the 2A girls. Westminster Christian Academy is number 1. The defending champion, Central Fellowship Christian, is number 2. Georgia Christian out of Valdosta is number 3. Trinity Christian at number 4. Sherwood Christian, number 5. St. George, number 6. Gatewood is number 7. Covenant Academy, number 8. Number 9, fresh out of the gaps in first year in the GIAA, Rock Springs.
Nice.
And then 10, Robert Toombs. Remember, there's no 1A classification for soccer, just the 3 classifications.
Exactly right, Richard. So thank you so much for updating that. And we're going to see how the 2A classification is going to play out. I'm interested in seeing who would be your favorite right now, Richard, if you were in the 2A.
I think it's going to be Westminster Christian Academy.
Yeah, I would think so too. And for boys, Holy Spirit Prep, pretty good program, Richard. Went to the state championship last year now and they lost in 3A to Westminster Schools of Augusta. They're in 2A now. They're ranked number 1 at 12-3, followed by Heritage at number 2. Now, this is where there's a mega drop-off. At number 3, Richard, is Central Fellowship Christian Academy. Number 4 is Sherwood Christian Academy. 5, Augusta Prep Day. 6, St. George's. 7, Westminster Christian Academy. 8, Atlanta Jewish Academy. 9 is Trinity Christian. And 10 is St. Mary's Academy. And making the playoffs will be LaGrange and Georgia Christian. Outside is Vidalia, Monsignor Donovan, right there on the threshold of trying to make the playoffs. But again, number 1 team is Holy Spirit Prep, followed by Heritage. Looks like we got a collision course between both of them in the 2A classification. Let's go to 3A, Rich.
All right, 3A is the number 1 team in the defending 3A champions, Frederica Academy, with a 9-4-1 record. And then at number 2, Lakeview Academy. They're pretty good at multiple sports in the GIAA. At number 3, St. Andrews. We've got John Millage Academy at number 4. Deerfield Windsor out of Albany is number 5. Terrell Academy out of Dawson, number 6. The team that was the runner-up last year, Westminster Schools of Augusta, is number 7. Number 8 out of Thomasville, Brookwood. We got Westfield School out of Perry at number 9 in a pretty tough region because they got to play a bunch of 4A schools. And then we got Valwood out of Valdosta rounding out the top 10.
Okay, so moving on now to 3A classification. It's that team. They're the Westminster Schools of Augusta, and they are the defending champions in the 3A classification, followed by number 2, Brookwood. And then, to be honest with you, if you look at the 3A classification, Richard, for one, there's only 9 teams, so 8 teams are going to make the playoffs this year. And it's Brookwood, Westminster, and then I'm talking about a drop-off, I said, in that 2A classification. It's the biggest drop-off I've seen in any rankings we've done, going back to football, basketball, and now baseball and soccer. Pretty significant gap. So right now, it looks like Brookwood and Westminster Schools of Augusta are going to be heading towards playing in the state championship. Now, Valwood comes in at number 3, Frederica at 4, St. Andrews 5, John Millage 6, Deerfield Windsor 7, Lakeview 8, and Piedmont on the outside looking in at number 9. Valwood maybe could give Brookwood a run for their money. It would be at Brookwood. Brookwood's 7-1, Valwood's 4-5, and their rating is pretty big gap between Brookwood and Valwood, and an even bigger gap between Westminster Schools of Augusta and Brookwood. So we'll see what those are. But right now, the heavy favorite, is Westminster Schools of Augusta. How about 4A, Rich?
4A girls, the number 1 ranked team is the St. Anne Pacelli Lady Vikings. They were the runners up last year. to in-town rival Brookstone. I've seen this Pacelli soccer team in person. They look fantastic. 12-2-1 record, and they play public schools. Some of those losses were from public schools. Number 2, Stratford Academy. They're hoping to get to the championship because Stratford is hosting the soccer championship May the 27th to 28th. FPD at number 3, undefeated, but they're number 3 in the rankings because of strength of schedule. How about number 4, the Kings Academy? First year in the Gaps. First year in the GIAA. They come from the Gaps, and they have a 9-0-1 record at number 4. Number 5, the defending GIAA champions, Brookstone. They lost a lot of players from last year's team. Still a good team, 7-5. But yeah, they are the defending GIAA champions. We got George Walton Academy at number 6. We got Strong Rock at number 7. Tallulah Falls, brand new to the GIAA. At number 8. Bullock Academy at number 9. And they have only played 7 matches, 1-4-2 record. They're based off their strength of schedule. They played a lot of tough teams. And then rounding out the top 10 out of Macon, Mount DeSales Academy.
Now we go to 4A, the newcomer, Tallulah Falls, who had a great program back in the GHSA. They come in 14-1, the number 1 ranked team in 4A classification. The defending champion, who will be the host site in their beautiful facility, Stratford, Coach Ian Jones, his team and the Eagles are ranked number 2. Number 3 is St. Anne Pacelli, a team that Stratford beat in the state championship last year and won the state championship the year before. They come in, and Coach Goger's team at number 3. They got a big win. Richard, you were there for that against Brookstone yesterday. Went to penalty kicks.
Man.
So they moved up to number 3. Number 4, Cristo Ray. Number 5, Fulton Science Academy. Now, if you're looking at the rankings with me, you'll see that Cristo Ray and Fulton Science both have a better record than Pacelli. But it's not about record. It's about strength of schedule. And Pacelli, strength of schedule is tougher than anybody else's in the GIAA and any classification aside from Westminster Schools of Augusta. Number 6 is Calvary Christian, rival of Pacelli's. They would be hosting Kings Academy. There's only 10 teams in 4A that make it, Richard, apparently, not 12, which I was confused on. But I think I had someone that told me that was also confused. So
the brackets are out, so you could see how many teams in each classification make it, and it's not all the same in each classification.
I know, exactly right. And coming in at number 7 is the Kings Academy. Number 8, Bullock Academy. Number 9, Strong Rock. Number 10, Riverside Military, right outside Mount DeSales and Tatnall Square, are right on the outside looking in. And looking at the brackets, Richard, for 4A, it says 12 teams do make it. So I stand corrected on that. 12 teams do make it in the 4A classification, and so do their 12 teams in the girls classification. So looking at the boys right now, Tatnall Square is in, George Walton right on their heels out, and Brookstone also trying to finish out strong. I don't think they're gonna have enough to be able to jump in. So there is your top 12. Number 1 team in 4A is again Tallulah Falls. All right, let's go to the baseball rankings, and we actually have graphics for you for this one. All right, we'll first start with 1A. And Richard, number 1, we talked to him, Nick Salter and Flint River Academy.
The Flint River Wildcats, they went to the state championship last year, lost a heartbreaker to Robert Toombs. We got Citizens Christian. They are number 2 at 11-6. Grace Christian at number 3. The defending champions, Robert Toombs Christian, 7-5 record.
Don't ever count out the heart of a champion.
Oh, Rudy T. We got a Rudy T quote from Thrift. I always use that quote. And yeah, I do agree. The defending champions always show up big time, and they're ranked 4th despite their record. We got David Emanuel at number 5 with 11-5 record. We got that's supposed to be Westwood at 8-6. That's just a typo. Vidalia Heritage at 9-11. Thomas Jefferson, TJ at number 8, 10-10 record. We got Atlanta Jewish Academy at number 9 with a 4-6 record, and then Covenant Academy rounding out the top 10, 8-12 on the season.
Unbelievable, man. And looking at that, Flint River, the favorite, but never count out Citizens Christian. Robert Toombs would be facing off against Flint River. That would be a rematch of last year's state championship game. They also played in the playoffs this past year. Remember, Robert Toombs beat them in football. Flint River beat them last year. So these two schools are very familiar.
Can
with
we call it a rivalry, even though they're not even Robert Toombs is in Lions, which is not even close to Woodbury. But yeah, this is starting to be a rivalry in 1A.
All right, now let's move on to the 2A classification. Number 1 is Gatewood, the defending champion. Gatewood was not the defending champion in 2A. We'll pull that up here in just a moment. I had that off the top of my head. And again, sorry about that. Number 1, Gatewood. Number 2, Southwest Georgia Academy. Number 3, Edmund Burke comes in at 12-2. Number 4, Trinity Christian. Number 5, Georgia Christian. Newcomer, Rock Springs. Number 6, Heritage comes in at number 7. Brentwood, number 8. Westminster Christian at number 9. And Briarwood rounding out the top 10. And if you look at the 2A classification, Richard, remember 12 teams do make the playoffs. Holy Spirit Prep's number 11. Augusta Prep Day is number 12. Southland is right behind them to try to get into the playoffs. So, Richard, let's go into 3A classification. And number 1 team is Pinewood.
14-4 record.
That choked Richard up, man.
No, I was looking up something. We got Pinewood 14-4, Frederica Academy 15-5 at number 2, Dominion Christian at 17-4. How about Deerfield Windsor? They won a football championship, competitive in basketball. Why not be competitive in baseball? And they're right there at number 4. We got John Millage. They're just about good at everything at 3A.
Right.
15-6. We just saw their girls basketball team make it all the way to the state championship. They're at number 5. They were actually playing in the state championship a couple of years ago, when that's actually part of the intro video that Brett does. Saw some John Millage highlights. We got Westfield School. Don't ever count out Westfield in 3A. They play teams like Brookstone, Calvary, Pacelli, Strong Rock, all 4A teams. And so they are battle tested.
Yeah.
And so I think that Westfield could go on a run in 3A. Their girls softball team ended up winning a championship. How about Piedmont at number 7? We got Valwood at 8 out of Valdosta.
Yeah.
Lakeview Academy, they're good. They win just about in every sport. And then Tift Area Academy rounding out the top 10 for 3A.
Yeah, Richard. And looking at 3A, again, 12 teams make the playoffs. Number 11 is Terrell Academy, who won a state championship last year. And Brookwood comes in at number 12. So Westminster Schools of Augusta and St. Andrews on the outside looking in the 3A classification. All right, let's continue on, Richard, and let's move to the 4A classification now. And coming in at number 1 in the 4A classification is FPD. Made the championship last year game and lost to Brookstone. Speaking of Brookstone, they lost 2 out of 3 to rival Calvary last week, but didn't drop in the rankings.
No,
they
not
come
at all.
in at number 2. Number 3 is Tatnall Square, followed by Bethlehem Christian at 4. Calvary Christian moves into the top 5 and got a walk-off win last night against Pacelli. Athens Christian, number 6. They are the newcomer. They've come on really strong. And number 7, Bullock Academy, followed by Tallulah Falls. Number 9, Stratford. Number 10, as I mentioned, Pacelli. And then the 2 teams on the outside but would make the playoffs, number 11, Strong Rock, and Kings Academy comes in at number 12. So George Walton behind the Kings Academy. But I think those top 12 right now, unless something crazy happens, are pretty much solidified. Those teams are going to make it. Where they're seated could change, but I don't see anyone else maybe creeping back in.
Thrift, I noticed that there are 3 teams in the top 10 from Columbus, and the baseball championship is going to be held in Columbus at Synovus Park. Wouldn't that be something if one of these teams, or even both teams, 2 teams, end up making the championship? Because I think that's what they're shooting for. I know that Brookstone, the defending GIAA champions, I think they're in a pretty good shape as the number 2 seed. Remember, the first 4 seeds get the first round bye. Calvary would end up hosting a first round game, which will take place on May the 9th and the 10th. And they would host the 12 seed. It could match up for a second round matchup game against, I want to say it's going to be the 4 and 5. They would end up taking on Bethlehem Christian. And then the winner of that game would take on FPD. Because I think they get a bye, and then you've got the 5 seed playing the 4 seed.
Yep.
FPD is going to play Tallulah Falls. Brookstone would play Bullock Academy. That's how that would play out. But yeah, if it is chalk, that second round matchups are going to be incredible, especially with those first 4 seeds getting buys.
Remember, state championships May 29th to the 31st. We'll have them on GIAA.tv. But here are your baseball rankings. Again, number 1 in 1A is Flint River. Number 1 in 2A is Gatewood. Number 1 in 3A is Pinewood. And number 1 in 4A comes in FPD. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we interviewed earlier today with the head coach of Flint River and his number 1 ranked 1A Wildcats, Nick Salter. You're going to enjoy that. And then right after, we'll have an interview with our soccer contributor, Ian Jones, the head boys coach of Stratford Academy. Coming up next on Inside the GIAA, presented by the
GIAA.tv now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.tv Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.tv Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.tv Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.tv Plus. With all of your fan favorites, GIAA.tv Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more, featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.tv.
Inside the GIAA, Thrift, Barringer, Richard Holdridge, your voices for GIAA.tv. And as we talked about there in that intro segment and during our baseball rankings review, we have a special guest for us. It's a few good minutes, and we're going to bring on right now the head coach of the number 1 team in 1A, the Flint River Wildcats, Nick Salter. Coach, thank you so much for joining the program, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely excited to be with y'all.
Coach, thank you again for making time out of your day. Looking forward to talking about Flint River athletics. And we'll talk about this year and how it's going. But first, like we always like to do in these few good minutes, Coach, we like getting the background history. What got you into coaching? Where'd you graduate from? What got you into loving baseball? So take us back to when you were in high school, man, and what led you to now being the head coach of Flint River.
Absolutely. I always played baseball growing up. Went to Upsley High School, played. Just loved the game about baseball. I've always coached travel ball. Started at home plate, coaching several years to Centerfield Black Sox. Went to Flint River Academy about 6 years ago and started coaching middle school there, and have been underneath some great coaches all the way through from travel ball to high school. And I love the game. So we're there every day working hard, and we're excited to keep pushing forward.
Well, Coach, you come in 13-2 on the season. You've had a great start, and off of last year's making it to the state championship game, Coach, and having to replace a guy that, has done a really good job with that Flint River program. What was some of the mindset heading into this one, Coach, as in this year as the first-year head coach of Flint River?
Yes. So last year during the championship game, that was devastating to a lot of our players. We had a huge senior class that graduated. Hated to see them go. Still have several starters that are there, seniors this year, even some juniors that have started last year. They're hungry. They've put in the work this offseason. They know what that feeling was at that last out of the game. So, they've put in the work. We go out there every day, rain, cold, hot. They put in the work. They're ready. We've come out this year. Played some great games, lost a couple that we probably should have had. I've got several kids this year. I can't even name them all that's put in some work and just a part of the program. They have been huge. We've got a lot of newcomers that have come to the program, and they're ready as well.
Coach, I want to talk about your team because you got a couple of seniors who are some of your top hitters. Sullivan Jones with a 463 batting average. Brack Spangler, who leads the team in home runs, he's got a 452 batting average. Eli Phillips, great hitters at the top of the lineup, and that's why you've had so much success. Talk about what these seniors mean to this team, and I know that the ultimate goal is to get back to the state championship, and a little bit closer for you guys. It's just going to happen to be in Synovus Park in Columbus, which is about an hour away from Woodbury.
Absolutely. We're excited about that. Great field to go to. So that's our goal. We set it out day one was our goal to make it back to where we was last year and hopefully take it this year. Some of my seniors, Sully Jones and Brack Spangler, I mean, those guys, they have really put us to the top on hitting and pitching. They can do it all. Brack, he's an outfielder, pitcher, and I mean, he's going to do it all around. Sully is a utility player, got a lot of heart, hustle. He's going to get it done as well. Eli Phillips has really stepped up this year with the bat, has come through for us great. Jay Stanton Pritchard plays center field for me, huge defensive player, on the base pass, smart as he can be, really comes through in the clutch. Hunter Pike, my first baseman, that is a kid that has really pushed himself this year. Every year he has worked his butt off to get to where he's at now, and it's really showing. I mean, there's a lot of kids that I just can't. Connor Amerson, he's been a great kid, so he's a senior as well. Hadn't played a whole lot of ball. He's come up. Mason Jones behind the plate, he's been great as well. He's like a wall back there, batting everything. Hayden Salter playing second base, young kid. He's played a lot of defense for us as well. Ethan Newman Jr., he leads off for us, got a tough thing. He's always been a good kid. I can't speak enough about the whole team, period. We've all pitched in where we needed to.
Coach, again, you're ranked number one in the recent GIAA poll. We only got two more before the season starts. So as of now, you're the number one overall seed. You got Citizens Christian, Grace Christian right behind you. But, Coach, to end the season, you got Heritage Preparatory, and then you got a two-game series against Rock Springs. I don't know why I was trying to say Robert Toombs because I saw the R, but I meant Rock Springs, who first year in the GIAA, a really good baseball program. We saw them in gaps when they were a rival of Calvary. They're ranked in the top 5 of two-way. So, Coach, how important is it for your guys to finish out strong heading into the playoffs?
So we had practice yesterday. We've got practice today. We're really preparing for them. We go on the road for a long road trip tomorrow to go up there and play our last region game of the season. We're going to go into it, with high hopes to go ahead and finish that off. We are actually prepared this weekend for Rock Springs. We want the last 3 games of the season, so we're going to push everything we can. We have a good game plan going into it. As of now, everybody's healthy on the team, trying to keep all our pitchers healthy, not overwork them. So we're preparing every day for that situation for next week.
Coach, as we look forward to the postseason, the first round of the GIAA playoffs is May the 9th and the 10th. You guys should end up getting a first-round bye, so your next playoff game won't be until May the 16th, which you'll be able to host there in Woodbury. But talk about that 2-week layoff. How are you going to get your team prepared for having such a long week? And is that a benefit, especially to your pitchers, being able to rest?
It'll give them some rest. I'm really not a big time on the downtime. I like to keep playing. Sometimes in a slump, and then we're coming back and we're on our heels. We'll definitely do some inter-squad scrimmaging. Hopefully we can get in touch with a local team and maybe get somebody over to our place or something and keep us going. But we will practice every day. We will prepare. Our kids come out with the mindset every day after school, and they're prepared. They're one of the teams that, I mean, I've coached many teams, and last year's team was great, and this year too. My kids come out every day, and they're ready to go. They all the horseplay it stops, and we're ready to roll. So they know what's at stake.
No doubt, Coach, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Seeing you hopefully maybe in Synovus Park. My last question, Coach. What are some of the things you want to try to work on with your group of guys as you get ready for the playoffs? Is there things that you think you want to shore up, or you just want to keep playing good baseball like you have been?
I want to keep playing good baseball. I'm trying to keep it fun for them. It's some of their last go round on baseball. So we're trying to keep a good mindset of having fun, enjoying every game and every pitch. They're all great. Most of these kids I've actually coached from 8 years old on. So it's a special bond. I've had a lot of these kids from travel ball. So it's exciting to see them grow into what they're capable of and their development. But they really come out day one. We were out there bundled up and we were ready to go. So we were cold and they were hungry. So I'm excited to see how far we can take this. But as of now, we have met our goal throughout the season of having a winning season, and we're gonna push forward to succeed.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for making time. Appreciate you being part of the Inside the GIAA. Congratulations on being number one, but I know that's not the goal right now. You want to be number one at the end of the season.
100%. That's our goal. And that's every one of the kids' goals. We're excited for them.
Thank you again. That is Coach Nick Salter, Flint River. Great guy, doing an excellent job in year one, having a team number one and potentially making it to the state championship. That is absolutely awesome, and had a lot of fun here on a few good minutes. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got more. We're going to be having our soccer update with our contributor, Coach Ian. He'll be joining us here on Inside the GIAA on GIAA.tv. We'll be right back after this.
GIAA.tv now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.tv Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.tv Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.tv Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.tv Plus. With all of your fan favorites, GIAA.tv Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more, featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.tv.
And we're back here inside the GIAA, your voices for GIAA.tv. Thrift, Barringer, Richard Holdridge just had an incredible few good minutes with Nick Salter, the head coach of the number one team in 1A baseball, Flint River Wildcats. Shout out to Joe Howard. He would love that I'm doing that. But we had a lot of fun with him and his Wildcats. They're trying to go back to the state championship. They came up short last year. He was an assistant coach on that team, and now in year one, has them right back as the top dog, and look forward to seeing them, and maybe we'll be seeing them in Columbus at Synovus Park. All right, now, just like we did during basketball season, we had a wrestling contributor. We had a swimming contributor. Well, this year, for this season, during the spring, we're going to have a soccer contributor along with the other sports, but this guy's going to be on every week leading up to the state championships. His name is Ian Jones, and he's the head coach of one of the best programs we got in the GIAA, Stratford Academy. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you all wanting to highlight the soccer teams in our league, and I'm glad to be joining you guys and offer some input.
Oh, yep, no doubt about it, man. And it's going to be a lot of fun updating everyone what's going on. So first things first, Ian, where are you from? What got you into soccer? Give us some soccer background. Where'd you play? What led you to ultimately now being the head coach of Stratford? Give us a timeline, man. Don't be shy. We want to know everything.
All right. Well, I actually moved here from England in 1986, and that's when I came to Macon, Georgia. Started school at Stratford in 4th grade. And then, I came on, basically that's when my soccer career really kind of started off. My high school coach at the time started inviting me to practices in middle school. And then that's when my passion for the game just grew. And, as a 4-year starter for Stratford Academy, was a goalkeeper, and went on to play college at Bruton Parker College for a year. And then after a year at Queens, after a year there, I went to Queens University of Charlotte, North Carolina, where I played for a season and then hung up the boots. And that's when I started my coaching career as a goalkeeper coach. And then I was the assistant coach for Queens for 2 years. And then, as most people do after they graduate college, they want to make that quick $1 million by the age of 26, and that just did not happen. So I kind of I took a step back to reassess what I wanted to do in my life and what I was good at, and what my passion has always been is working with kids and coaching. So I moved back to Macon in 2003, and really kind of just started working in the soccer community at the club level. And then in 2004, I was actually the interim coach here at Stratford for the girls soccer program. I co-coached with Jeremy McClure, who is actually a former teammate of mine who asked me to come on board to help him. And then in 2005, I actually took the head coaching job at Mountain Sales Academy. I was there for just over 14 years.
Wow.
Had a successful career there, coaching boys and girls. And then, obviously, my ties to Stratford, brought me back in 2019. It's an honor to be back here at my alma mater. This program has always been deep in my heart. But the big thing for me that I've realized in the last few years, probably like 7 or 8 years, is really just wanting to get back to the game. And it doesn't matter whether it's Stratford, Mountain Sales, FP, Tatnall, Frederica, Westminster. My role is to, really to try to promote the game of soccer, because we need more positive influences out there. So it's not all about winning and losing for me. It's about trying to create relationships with all the players, not just my own. So I always try to single out one player after a game and just give them words of encouragement, great game, or, hey, if they had a rough game, try to lift their spirits. And that's really my role as a coach.
I just got to say, I love that. And we need, I'm hoping, and we do, have a lot of guys like you with that same mindset in the sport they love, giving back. And it doesn't matter if you're competing against them on the field, but once the game's over with, that's a student athlete that you want to give back to. So I think that's awesome.
Coach Jones, I want to talk about Stratford Academy as a whole, because not only are you the defending GIAA champions, your school actually hosted all classifications of the soccer championships in the GIAA. I was there last year. I got to say, I was blown away by your facilities. It's just state-of-the-art soccer field, not playing on a football field. Most schools play on football fields because they don't have a soccer field, but you got great facilities there. I do want to talk about this season, because even though you are the defending GIAA champions, you have 3 losses. 2 of those losses were to public schools. One was to Harris County, one was to Northside, I think Mary Person. So 3 of your losses were to GHSA schools. And then Tallulah Falls is ranked number 1, and you beat Tallulah Falls. So talk about just that motivating factor, knowing you're not the number 1 team in 4A, that Tallulah Falls is, even though they only have 1 loss, but you've already beat them head-to-head. So what's the message to the team to try to get them to be motivated to try to win back-to-back?
Well, the biggest challenge for us this year when we were coming off the state championship is to get the boys to understand that, that was in the past. We had a fantastic year in 2024, and we had to regroup. And one of the things I wanted to do this year is make sure we had a tough non-region schedule, because we played our region opponents twice, and it can get real stale real fast, meaning thinking that you're better than you really are. And that's not a discredit to our region. Our region is arguably one of the toughest regions in the state. So we wanted to play some tougher competition. And it's great to have a team like Tallulah Falls join the GIAA, because that gives more credibility to what our league is about. And Tallulah Falls is, without a doubt, one of the top teams in the state. And they're deserving of that number 1 ranking. I mean, we played them, where they played back-to-back. They played on a Friday night against Tatnall, and Tatnall, they're a tough side. So when we played them the following day, they were a little banged up. It was early in the year, and so we were on fresh legs. But certainly, give credit to where it's due. Tallulah Falls is certainly a title contender along with Pacelli, and I feel like Crystal Ray is another player we got to keep an eye on. But again, our main role is to take one game at a time, because if we look too far ahead, that tipping point could go in the wrong direction, and we've been in that position before. And 2 years ago, when we played Tatnall in the state semifinals, and I think we were kind of looking at a little bit too far ahead of ourselves, and we slipped up and lost. So I think that's the motivating factor for our boys, is especially our senior classes, to keep us focused on one day at a time.
Yeah, that's great, Coach. And as we have you on as the soccer contributor, we want to talk about all the classifications in the GIAA. There's only 3 classifications for boys and girls soccer. Of course, You're the defending champions. You're able to defeat Pacelli, which when you beat Pacelli, they were the defending champions from last season. I do want to talk about the girls' soccer. We're going to start with 4A. Right now, the Pacelli Lady Vikings, which were the runners-up to Brookstone last year. In fact, they played yesterday at Pacelli. Right now, the Pacelli Lady Vikings are the top number 1 team in the GIAA. Who's looking to be the favorite for the 4A girls? And we'll go ahead and start down. We'll start with 4A and then the 3A classification, and then we'll end it with 2A.
All right. Well, on the girls' side, I'll tell you, Pacelli, I think, have kind of taken the lead in being the number 1 team. They've been that all year long. They have been playing probably one of the toughest schedules, throughout the league, from what I can tell. After looking at their schedule, where they're located in Columbus, they've got a lot of good public schools down there that are able to play, as well as across the border in Alabama. And then, Stratford and FPD have been battling out for the number 2 spot. And last night, what a game from both teams. Got to see those 2 teams battle it out, went into overtime, and Stratford came out on top in the penalty kick shootout. FPD took the first game 3-1. So, again, I think that number 2 seed is up for grabs. But right now, Stratford sits at number 2, FPD number 3. And then Brookstone, their record may not reflect it, but again, I think they're also in a position where they've been playing some tougher competition. There's some good public school competition down there that they've been playing. So their record is a little deceptive, being at 7-5. But certainly, and then you got a couple other schools, Kings Academy. I mean, they're going to be region champs in their particular region. But again, I think we got 4 clear teams in that 4A Class A for the girls. But again, you can't fall asleep on anyone.
Yeah, for sure on that, man. And Richard, I know you may mention you want to bring up the 3A and 2A classifications and just talking about some of the top teams in there. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the 3A boys. The defending champions was Westminster Schools of Augusta, which by the way, they are the number 1 team in 3A. The number 1 team over for 3A girls is Frederica Academy. As far as number 1 team for 2A boys, Holy Spirit Prep. And then we have Westminster Christian, the number 1 team for 2A girls.
Yeah, those are really good programs, Coach. When you hear those teams and throughout the weeks, Coach, what we plan on doing, we're going to and get your insight, talk about those rankings, talk about some of the teams and how they're doing each week as we head into the playoffs, which they're right around the corner, man. They're right here. But when you hear those top teams, in your opinion, when it comes to soccer, how important is it to have home field advantage to host games leading up to the state championship?
This year very, very important. Because our playoffs are going into the latter part of May, where you got a lot of school activities going on, whether it's AP exams, graduations, baccalaureates, end of the year school events, and so those seniors, and you can't blame them. They got eyes on the prize. They're looking full steam ahead. And so as coaches, we're really trying to find a way to keep them engaged, keep them focused. And so there's no better way than doing that when you're at home. It's a lot easier around that, get them on a bus and having to, travel somewhere. And so I think, any team that's at the number 1 or number 2 seed, it's really important that they hold on that. So they, that state semifinal, they're not having to travel, especially when it comes down to, dealing with graduation parties. I mean, on a personal note, I told my parents last August, like, you need to go ahead and not plan anything on Friday or Saturday of graduation, because I can't control when we're going to play. We will be playing on one of those 2 days, and I think most coaches are in the same boat. So it's going to be interesting to see.
No doubt about it. His name is Ian Jones. He's the head coach of Stratford Academy, defending state champion, and he's our soccer contributor. Coach, thank you so much for kind of introducing yourself to the inside the GIAA audience, and we look forward to having you on next week as the playoffs start, and looking forward to seeing who some of those teams that could potentially be hosting that trophy at the end of the year. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all's time.
His name is Ian Jones. That was great, Richard. Look forward to having him. He's got a lot of insight. He's from England, got a great accent, and I look forward to talking to him. I could just listen to him talk all day.
I'm sure I could talk Premier League with him. I should have asked him, what's your favorite Premier League team? Is it Manchester United, Liverpool? I don't know.
Yeah. We'll have to ask him that question next time we have him on. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Kent Copeland and Clint Morgan as the tennis individual state championships just happened, and the athletic director and associate athletic director of all GIAA will be joining us to talk about how that event went and more. And then we'll wrap it up with Commissioner's Corner with Tommy Marshall coming up next on Inside the GIAA on GIAA.tv.
GIAA.tv now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.tv Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.tv Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.tv Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.tv Plus. With all of your fan favorites, GIAA.tv Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more, featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.tv.
Welcome inside the GIAA. Thrift Barringer, Richard Holdridge, and had a lot of fun. I've said that about 300 million times this show, but we did enjoy interviewing Nick Salter and, of course, then Ian Jones. Great guys, and looking forward to having Ian Jones throughout the rest of the playoffs for soccer. And, man, those classifications, we got a bunch of competitive classifications.
We do.
All right, without further ado, we're going to bring on 2 very important guys to the GIAA. It is Kent Copeland and the man himself, Clint Morgan. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining the program.
Glad to be here. And the man is Kent Copeland, since we're talking about tennis. So if you're going to talk about being the man, that's the guy. So he is the coordinator, and he did a fantastic job getting tennis run there in Macon in 2 different venues. Everything went off without a hitch, and it's very much credit to Kent. So he's the guy.
Well, and speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about how it went down. Y'all know you were at 2 different locations. So Ken, if you will kind of explain how it went down, and then we'll go into how some of the winners from each location y'all were at. This is for the tennis state individual championship. So Kent, without further ado, kind of explain what happened on Monday and Tuesday, man. Kent, your mic's muted. We'll get him back. You know how it is, Clint. Sometimes
technology,
that technical difficulties. But while we're waiting on him, you were talking about what he was able to do the last couple of days. So kind of paint the picture until he can join us. Clint.
Yeah. So we have 4 classifications, and it takes a lot of courts. And we had single A and double A that they participated down at South Bibb in South Macon, and then turned around and had the triple A and quad A in John Drew Tennis Center up there and probably I would consider it North Bibb. So, but we ended up having those 2 different locations, and had really good turnout with spectators, but also a lot of good quality competition between all the boys and girls. And it is what you said. It's an individual tournament. We do have a team portion of tennis, and it's not until next week, and that's going to be fun too. Same locations, but the fact that we were able to provide an individual competition as well is just a little bit of icing on the cake.
All right. Well, we think we have Kent. Kent, did you able to unmute yourself? It still says, yep, there it goes. Oh, no, it went back. There we go.
Are we on?
We on, baby.
Yeah, there we go.
Got him. We knew we were going to get it. Hallelujah. We finally figured it out.
I listened to Clint lay it out for me, baby.
But go ahead, Ken, if you will.
I said, I thought Clint did a great job laying it out before I went away. I watched him while I was trying to get back on. But yeah, we do a lot of work trying to get this thing set up in Macon, middle of the state. Thanks a lot to Stratford Academy for helping us get this set up. Bobby at the at John Drew Smith's Tennis Center does an excellent job getting us on. So we're excited to be a part of Macon, Georgia, and tennis for GIAA.
Clint, I want to talk about the difference between the individual championships compared to the team championships. We just had the individual championships that wrapped up for all classifications. Now we've got the team tennis. I know for the individuals, they had singles and doubles. And then now we go into the team tennis. Is there going to be a certain bracket as far as each school, and when you face each other in the championship, what is that bracket going to look like? And whatever the individual tennis player did, how does that affect the team overall score?
Yeah, so you kind of can picture it more like it's a team sport now. You're going to have one school versus another school. Each school is going to have 5 different lines. The 5 lines are going to be 3 singles and 2 doubles. And the idea is to win 3 of those 5 matches. So as soon as one of the schools wins the first 3 matches, then that wins that game, if you will, that match. And so then that school advances to the next round. So someone could, an individual, like a number 3 singles per se, could lose a match, but the team still wins. And so they continue on to the next round. There'll be 3 rounds because there's 8 teams that are advancing to the team tennis championships, and so we'll have a quarterfinal round, semifinal round, and then the finals. And it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of good tennis.
I completely agree with that. And again, that is coming up next week, April 29th and 30th. We're going to talk about the golf here in a minute because, again, you and Kent are in charge of the golf state championships. And you know what? I'm going to save that nugget. I got a big nugget that's going to really promote GIAA golf here, but I'm going to save that for just a second, though, guys. I did want to mention some of the champions because you can find this on our Instagram page. Great job by Banks of putting this out there for all the winners. They were able to participate in the championship, and there's a ton of them. Honestly, probably almost too much to read sitting here. So if you go to Instagram, I don't want to mispronounce any names. You go to Instagram, you got the Class 1A girls and boys. LaGrange actually had 2 champions. And then for the girls doubles and boys doubles, it was Grace Christian in the 1A classification. For the Class 2A singles, girls was a Heritage student, excuse me. And for Class 2A boys was a Sherwood Christian student. And then following Class 2A girls was Southwest Georgia doubles. And then for Class 2A boys doubles was Sherwood Christian, 2 students from there. Again, you can go and see all the winners on our Instagram page. And I know it was a fabulous showing. Guys, do y'all want to talk about some of the support from the fans? How was it like, the atmosphere there? I know we had 2 different locations. So, Clint, if you want to go first with where you were at, and Kent kind of lay the groundwork on how much fun y'all had being there.
Yes, and appreciate that question. And I'll tell you, you're right. It's tough to say some of these names, but I'm going to tell you something. They deserve those names being called because they are champions. We had a really, really good time at John Drew with the AAA and Quad A. In Quad A, Finley Jeffers from Calvary won that girls singles match over Caitlin Jackson, and that was a tremendous match. It actually went to a tiebreaker in the end. It was the final game of the whole day, and it was just a really well played match. Finley lost the first set 6-7, and then came back and won 6-3 and won the tiebreak. So it was a really, really good match. And then in the girls doubles, FPD, Scott and Jones, they went through the entire day with only losing 1 game all day. Pretty amazing to go through 4 rounds actually, and only lost 1 game the entire day to win that championship. And King's Academy provided the boys singles. Logan Zizang is his name. He did a really, really nice job. He defeated Ponce from Stratford in a well played match. Ponce had a 2.5 hour semifinal match, so I'm sure some of the steam came away from him. But Zizang was just a dominant player all day and took away that championship. And then in the boys doubles from FPD, Lashley and Scott won that. And so, you got two different FPD winners in both boys and girls doubles. And so that was pretty amazing. In the AAA ranks, Rivers and William and Reed, they were pretty much head and shoulders above the competition, but there were other contributors too as well. Pearlie Pawacha from Rivers Academy, she won that girls singles division, and she actually won against one of her teammates in the finals. So that's an amazing feat to have two players from the same team playing each other for a championship. Maddox Iliescu from William and Reed won that boys singles. Polar and Linda Mood from Rivers won the girls doubles over a really good team from Terrell Academy. Terrell Academy came through and made it to the finals and did a great job there as well. And then Galvis and Tiana from William and Reed won the boys doubles. Then they won their match 6-0-6-0 in the championship, which is a rare feat for sure. But the one thing I want to note there, the state runners up was from Westminster of Augusta, and Wells and Jordan, and they both are 8th graders. 2 8th graders playing in a doubles championship is pretty amazing. So it was a really good day up at John Drew. I'm sure Kent can tell you how fun everything was down at South Bend as well, but we had a really good time up at John Drew.
That's awesome, Clint. And by the way, thank you so much for announcing all those winners, because you're exactly right. That is the sole purpose of this show. I just didn't want to mispronounce their names, and that's why, Clint, you're the man, and you should be doing this job too, dude, because you're really good at it.
Not hardly. Your job's much harder than mine.
Kent, can you tell us what happened where you were at, man, and give us some of the winners?
I sure can. And girls singles in Class A came down to 2 twin sisters from LaGrange, Georgia, and Molly Edison won over her sister Ava. But
oh, wow.
Both of those girls are 8th graders and real deal tennis players. I mean, it was impressive. In our Class A girls single A doubles, this is a 3-time state champion from Grace Christian, Lee and Portavant. And I will tell you this, last 2 years they won in double A, and this year they won in single A. So Grace and LaGrange, as you had mentioned earlier, kind of dominated the single A classification. Perm Canat from LaGrange won the single A boys, and Barnett and Adams from Grace won the doubles. So those two schools obviously have programs on the rise. In double A singles, the young lady that you mentioned from Heritage School, Addie Rogan, is a very, very good tennis player and won handily 6-0 in her match. A new school to our league, and you had mentioned earlier, Sherwood Christian in boys doubles, Moorhead and Sadler won the double A, and in doubles girls, a very good program at Southwest Georgia tennis program. Steele and Mock won their doubles match. And then our final match of the day was a double A boys single, and the young man from Sherwood, Will Moorhead, won that. We're excited. A new school came in the league and had an opportunity to come in and win a individual tournament. As you had mentioned earlier, we are working right now to get this team ready to go for Tuesday and Wednesday.
We can't wait to have y'all on next week, gentlemen, to talk about that. But before we let you go, I do want to talk to and make this nugget, and then I want to talk about golf next week. So there's a golf coach here in the Columbus area. He actually coaches at Brookstone. He sent me the rankings for the entire state of Georgia. Doesn't matter if it's GIAA, public school. And in that top 10, there's about 5 or 6 GIAA schools. That is how impressive golf is in this area. And I was talking to him. He was like, man, we're having a phenomenal year, and we're ranked number 6 in the entire state, and we're number 4 in the GIAA. That's how tough this league is, and especially in golf. Clint, can you talk about how competitive that is and where those golf championships are going to be next week?
Yeah, so and I'm stealing Kent's thunder now because Kent is that golf guru. But we'll have our AAA division down in Thomasville, Glenarvan Golf Course. Super nice. I actually was told that their member guest tournament is this weekend, which means the Monday of our tournaments, the course is going to be in phenomenal shape.
Awesome.
Looking good for us. The AA is up at Harbor Club up at Lake Oconee, where Gatewood would host. Doug just does a fantastic job up there. He's done it several years for us and puts on a great tournament. And AA will be well taken care of. And the girls division will be up in the Tallulah Falls area, Clarksville at Orchard Golf Club. And we're looking really forward to going up there and taking on some of the hills of the Orchard. But you're talking about the golf in GIAA that dates back many years, and it was fun to even think about this past weekend and weekend before here or right close anyway, at the Masters and the Heritage Golf Tournament there in Hilton Head, and you watch Russell Henley just walking around doing such a great job, and he's representing GIAA, GISA, and he's a phenomenal golf player and has really served us well, and so there's a lot of good golf. And I may not have said Stratford Academy, but that's where he played golf there in Macon, Georgia. So there's just a lot of really good golf, and a lot of good players that's playing next week, and looking forward to seeing some of those guys play. Rivers Academy is probably one. Kent can name a few of the other schools that are probably in contention as well.
Well, just to add on, Brookwood, who squeaked by Rivers last year, and Brookwood had 2 boys last year, both shoot 64 to have a playoff for the low medalist, both returning. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to get too far ahead, but I think I'll just say Georgia commits. Now that could change, but that's good, as well as, like Clint said, Rivers and Fulton Science, William and Reed, Calvary, and I'm actually working on golf tonight, so I don't have all those numbers in front of me, but there's some very good golf. There's actually some very good girls golf too. We're seeing some scores in girls in the mid 70s, so that's unreal.
It really is. And by the way, so those rankings that I was just talking about, Frederica Academy is number 2 in the entire state. Number 3 is Brookwood. Rivers Academy is number 6, followed by Brookstone at number 7. 4 teams, guys, in the top 7 of Georgia. That's pretty incredible, man. Yeah. And by the way, I heard through the grapevine, our own Kent Copeland is a really good golfer. So I'm wondering, are you going to get out there and start competing against some of these guys, man?
Hey, I'll tell you, I can't compete against them, but every now and then Clint will call me during the summertime, and I have to lay the phone down so I can hit, and then I'll get back on with him.
You know the sound that I hear when I call him is just, that's what I hear.
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on. Looking forward to talking to y'all next week. And by the way, Synovus Park had their opening day, the Clingstones, last week. We were here live covering it, and it is beautiful. We are in for a treat when we get to host the GIAA State Championships at Synovus Park, May 29th through the 31st. Can't wait for that. And, of course, soccer, May 27th and 28th. Kent, Clint, thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all next week, gentlemen.
Tell Coach Tommy Marshall that we said hello next time.
Most definitely will. Thank y'all, guys. We'll talk to you later. That is Clint Morgan and Kent Copeland. We're going to take a break. We're actually waiting on Tommy, if we can get him here in just a moment. If not, we're going to wrap it up. But we've had a lot of what?
A lot of fun.
Can I patent that phrase? Because how many times I've said it. Let's take a break. We'll come back. It's Inside the GIAA.
GIAA.TV now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.TV Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.TV Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.TV Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.TV Plus. With all of your fan favorites, GIAA.TV Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more. Featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.TV.
Founded in 1985, the Georgia Independent School Association proudly represents nearly 170 accredited private, independent, and parochial schools across the state. From Tallulah Falls to St. Simon's Island, from Columbus to Augusta, our schools serve over 76,000 students every year. Whether parents are interested in smaller class sizes, more individual attention, a religious-based curriculum, or a safe and structured environment, the GISA provides a strong education, which is the foundation for success. To learn more about the GISA and how they can serve your school, visit us online at www.gisaschools.org.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.TV, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
Well, we're here. We're back.
We made it.
We made it. Thrift and Rich. All right, let's go to now Commissioner's Corner. And we're going to bring on the man himself. He's a legendary coach. It is Coach Tommy Balcho joining us. Coach, how are you?
Coach. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Excellent, man. And we're in the springtime. Can you believe it? We're already playoffs for the spring. Where did time go?
Oh, it's exciting. I hope our connection's good. We've had some weather up here in Atlanta. I hope we're working through that. This is the most exciting time of the year for everything because everything's coming to a culmination. You've got to work with graduations, baccalaureates, weather, school issues, and trying to schedule all these playoff games, championships. So there are things. This is all hands on deck right now.
Commissioner Marshall, last time we saw you, it was at the Lumpkin Center for Columbus State as you were handing out the trophy and the banner, presenting it to all the championships. And you're going to get to do that again, as we've already done it for tennis, for individual. We've got the doubles individual, the golf championship. We do have 5 schools in the GIAA that play lacrosse. That championship's going to be at Strong Rock on May the 8th. We got track and field coming up May the 1st through the 3rd. And then to put a bow on spring sports, we've got 5 straight days of championships. We've got the soccer championships at Stratford Academy. We got 3 classifications for boys and girls that you're going to be able to present the banner and the trophy to the fantastic schools. And then you got to turn around and head to Columbus for 3 days, and we'll have a championship crowned on the 31st of May at Synovus Park. Just talk about just the logistics of going into crowning a championship, making sure that your team is there right on the field, right when the game is about to end, and just to make sure everything runs smoothly when you're crowning these champions.
Well, I think with all the little details we have going on, we televise them. Remember, we've got to get to that point first. We've got to get all of our playoffs done in order to get to the championships. You're right about that championship week, 5 days in a row, which will be telling for everybody. you've got to deal, like I said, you've got to deal with the weather because they're all outside events. So you got to take that into consideration. Oops, sorry. But you got to take that into consideration on everything. But kudos to our people that are hosting. Strong Rock Christians doing lacrosse and track and field, which is tough during the school days when your school's in session. So really want to give a shout out to those guys. I think Stratford's hosting 2 events, girls and boys soccer. So I think when you get to that, you said it. We've got over 80 girls, we think, between 70 and 80 on Monday at Tallulah Falls in the state girls golf championship. That same day, Robert and I will be at the AA at Harbor Club running the AA, and AAA will be Kent down in Clark's, down in Thomasville at Glenarvin Country Club. So that will be a hectic day. Then we turn right around and go to team tennis, which is at 2 different sites in Macon, Randy Stevens and John Drew Center, which sort of spreads us a little thin at times, but we will get it done. Again, all these sports are outside. So we are so dependent on what the weather is going to do for rescheduling, for hosting, for getting people there, for travel, for lodging. There's so many details that go into the springtime, and it's hectic, but it is great. It's what the culmination of a school year and athletic year should be.
That's awesome, Tommy, and we are looking forward to all these state championship being played out, Commissioner Marshall, so we are excited about it. As I made mention to Clinton Kent, the baseball state championships are going to be held at the historic, once was Golden Park, now Synovus Park here in Columbus, and we were there opening day for their AA team here in Columbus, Coach Marshall, and it was unbelievable. Yes. We are in for a treat. I promise you. I think every GIAA team that's able to participate in those state championships are going to be blown away. They're going to be gracious hosts. And I know you're excited about having places and venues like this, like Georgia Southern, to showcase all the wonderful athletes we got in the GIAA.
Amen. I think you said it best. The renovations on that stadium are unbelievable, what they've done as far as upgrades, the excitement, the atmosphere. I'm really, really excited. We've been at different venues. We've been to Savannah. We've been to Augusta. We've been a little bit of every place. But I'm so excited that Columbus is going to host this in their, I call it their revamped venue, because I think people will be blown away by this. It reminds me of the Gwinnett AAA Stadium for the Braves. And I can't imagine. Thanks again to Stratford for hosting girls and boys soccer. Last year, they did a great job. Again, these are hosted during the school days and during the school week, which puts a burden on their campuses. But I love to showcase the different venues we have, but also when we get to venues, our schools. We get to showcase our schools.
Right.
And they host. I think that's exciting.
Commissioner Marshall, is there anything that you would like to put out, that any information that people need to know about the GIAA, any events that's going to be coming up? Is we have one more final year. The 2025-2026 year is the final year before they have reclassification. We could see brand new teams in the GIAA, but for now, this is going to be the teams that are going to be facing off. It's starting in the fall with all the fall sports. Is there anything that just needs to be put out?
I think reclassification sort of takes its own creature as far as it evolves. There's different things that are going to come up, different questions, different guidelines. GHSA is doing theirs. We're doing ours at the same time. So there's a lot of moving parts and moving pieces involved. But I couldn't be more excited than what we have right now. I don't know what is going to happen in the fall with reclass. It's always a big question mark, but we will put a lot of emphasis and information will be out there. but it will take all of the fall. It will start in early fall and end probably right before Christmas in December, early December. Sometimes even going on into January with different questions and trying to figure out all the different details. So it gets complex. We just want to have an opportunity to provide for our schools the best venues, upgrades, excitement, enthusiasm, and really showcase our schools, what we have now. So it's an unknown right now, but it's an exciting unknown.
His name is Commissioner Tommy Marshall, legendary coach who does all things to help grow the GIAA. And between him, Robert, Kent Copeland, Clint Morgan, and Amy, the rest of the staff, obviously Tony Morgan, and us here at the GIAA.TV crew, we are so forever thankful for the opportunity that y'all have given us, and we love to continue to push out all the greatness that is the GIAA. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach Marshall, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
Amen. Thank you, guys. Thanks for all you do. Go GIAA. Come on. Let's go.
I love it, man. He's getting me fired up right now to go out and start playing. That is Coach Tommy Marshall. Still got that coach in him. You can never take the coach out of him. I said the same thing about Clint Morgan. I don't care what he says. I bet he could go out there and coach right now football if he wanted to. He loves his job, but you can never take the coach out of someone. But man, what a show. What a interviews. Thank you to Kent Copeland and Clint Moore coming on and updating us what happened in the tennis individual state championship. Thank you to Commissioner Tommy Marshall, as always, kind of a state of the union of what's going on. It's really cool to have him on. Also, thank you to Nick Salter, the #1 team in 1A baseball. It's Flint River, lost in the state championship last year. In year #1, he just took over the job this year, has him ranked #1. We had a great time with him. And we also talked with Ian Jones, who is our soccer contributor and the head boys soccer coach at Stratford. So we covered a lot here in this hour and 15 minutes. Make sure to go to GIAAsports.org, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, also on Instagram. Banks does a phenomenal job pushing out every information from winners, updates on events, anything you can think of. It's on the Instagram. I follow it for all the news and notes. Go there, the website. And, of course, to watch all the state championships, where do you go, Richard?
That would be to GIAA.TV.
There it is, man. Look, he's got that radio commercial voice on. All right, thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you next week on ITG here on GIAA.TV.